please welcome to the stage Phil Lockhart.
Thank you. Every lesson comes at a cost. The key is making sure that is an investment, not an expense. What I plan to do is share some lessons learned, specifically with Telium and some AI things that we're doing specific to the luxury service market. My name is Phil Lockhart. I'm the Chief Digital Officer at Credera, and I've been with Credera for 15 years. And I've had the opportunity to work with over 170 different companies within that, some that are small, some that are large, Shark Tank to the biggest companies in the world. Our goal today is to talk through accelerating customer journeys through data-driven integration. It's actually a lot about AI and some of the learnings about how Telium can actually help out specifically to that. You're gonna see that QR code down at the bottom. And what we're wanting to do, that's our investment to you, is actually talk through 4 enablers, and we got through with a lot of the architects and the technologists that were on it and said, share your points of views, share the struggles and things that you went through, not just the finished project, to share, because smart people learn from their mistakes, wise people learn from others. So hopefully you can take some of those lessons and go from there. If you don't have a chance to do that, it will be available at the end of the show as well, but I'm gonna talk about Credera. So Credera was started 25 years ago with the belief that in everything that we do, humility first, excellent always, and drive for results. Yes, we are a management consulting and enterprise technology firm, and we help our clients solve their biggest business challenges in simple ways. Those challenges typically fall in the intersection of 3 things. One is enterprise data, the architecture, the technology there, cloud and infrastructure. The second piece is the industry, the maybe pharmaceuticals, retail, oil and gas, and the problem that we're trying to solve. And we also use platforms such as Telium. We've grown quite a bit. We have 4,000 individuals. Those 4,000 individuals have capabilities that are world-class, from artificial intelligence, modern cloud and architecture within that, business strategy, MarTech solutions. We're typically end-to-end. We help our problems identify the problem, do the technology enablement to solve that problem, and then optimize that solution with the goal of saying, what is success? We hit that goal, we hit that metric. So we've worked with quite a few different companies. All those companies actually span across a lot of different industries. Those industries and the ways that we help service them is not just marketing, but it's also operations, finance, information technology, but we're here to talk quite a bit about marketing. And to lay the groundwork a little bit as well is that Credera is part of Omnicom. And if you're not familiar with Omnicom, it is one of the largest marketing and communications holding companies in the world, providing services from advertising, brand, media, through all its agencies. So 1,500 agencies within that, and you come in contact with a lot of the different brands that they interact with, some of the phones that you're holding, your favorite shoes, the great cars that you drive, all those things, those are the experiences that they produce, the media, the advertisement that you get to see, the transformation of the industries. So where does Credera fit in? We are the technology enablement. They cast the vision. We're tasked with trying to bring that vision to life. And that can be quite challenging at sometimes if anyone's seen Mad Men. So one example I love sharing, and this is actually, I want you to go back like 3 to 4 years. A global pharmaceutical company was looking to transform the way that they did consumer marketing. And specifically, they were very good. Everyone's seen all the different advertisement on TV about the different therapeutics, all the different restrictions and things that are there. What they wanted to do is actually figure out, how do we come alongside? After the prescription's written, how do we make sure that we can help them manage their condition? And specifically, provide remarkable experiences that are personalized with individual outcomes. We want to impact that individual within it. The first goal that they wanted to say is like, hey, once they're in the situation, can we provide a website that can automatically detect how they manage their condition? For one of the therapeutics, it was either diet, it was fitness, or it was research. So looking at that, what they wanted to try to figure out was like, can we look at the clickstream behavior and identify which one of those in real time, which is something that the industry didn't do at all. Telium was a huge part of that. Why? Because we could collect the signals and have the customer profiles with that. But then the secondary piece is we connected that to an AWS architecture with real-time propensity models, machine learning with it. So what we saw was the need to actually connect that experience with a large data environment. We hear the talk in the CDW. So not just collecting and connecting the data, but actually transforming and structuring in a way that's useful for models within that. That's 3 to 4 years ago. We looked at this and we said, hey, was it successful? First year, $100 million in incremental value for the company. What are the things that it did? We had all types of data, operational, media performance, cost, media things such as we could hit microsegments, immediately like $5 million in benefits from an audience cost. So we saw that and we go, hey, that's really helpful. Telium, great, very easy to stand up. We did it in like 4 months. The other piece was the data environment. It took 3 months. That's a really long time, we thought, just to get started, to be able to go hit and do some of the services on there. We need to get to value faster, so we made a bet 4 years ago, and we created a solution called Marketing Analytics Platform, which is, instead of 3 months, can we stand up that same environment with the standard data sets and a data science environment in not 3 months, but the time it takes to go get a cup of coffee? And the team did. So granted, it's not like loading all the data in, but we wanted to make sure that we're not trying to figure out how to stand up the environment, what's provided there, and actually getting speed to the value and actually utilizing the data. That's one case study that's really important. But now I want to fast forward today. And this is one we're going to talk through quite a bit. And it's the future luxury shopping experience. Talked about Omnicom and the way that we kind of play a role within them. They were trying to transform a specific retailer that has electronics, furniture, home appliances, trying to make it the new wave. What does it need to do from the web experiences and the way that people shop? And want to give you a glimpse into the view of like how we help support that. I was trying to identify like what they set the stage for that future luxury shopping experience. It's really important because I want you to kind of put yourselves in our spot, listening to this and trying to react and like, can we actually achieve this? Because the role that they have to play is actually get everyone super excited and promise a lot of things and actually go forward thinking within it. So here's what they describe. The future of luxury shopping, a hyper-personalized, AI-driven buying experience. It starts with a conversation not today, but years ago. A passing mention to an AI concierge about a dream kitchen. A fleeting comment about preferring induction over gas. An article shared on smart home integration. And now, when the moment is right, everything clicks into place. This isn't e-commerce. This isn't even luxury retail. This is anticipatory shopping at its finest. It's a lot, right? So I'm sitting there like listening to this going, oh wow, this is pretty good, right? Then they start getting into the details of it. A shopping experience so seamless it feels inevitable. A home that speaks for itself. Thanks to the deep integrations with real estate data from Zillow and home builders, now starting to kind of design it, which is interesting, kind of tough. The system already knows the home is exact layout, finishes, even natural lighting. It can pull up a flawless, hyper-realistic rendering of the kitchen down to the marble veins on the island. No imagination required. Precision tailored luxury. AI doesn't just recommend products, it curates an experience. Every appliance suggests fits not just the space, but the homeowner's culinary habits, lifestyle, and even the future aspirations, reflected in cinematic, real-time generated content as personalized as a fingerprint. Now I'm starting to get a little nervous, right? Beyond data, understanding intent. The AI isn't just pulling from purchase history. It's blending years of conversational data, third-party lifestyle indicators, and financial intelligence to ensure every recommendation aligns with taste, timing, and budget. They own a home in the $3 million range. The system knows the pricing tiers of the products that make sense without even needing to ask. Luxury delivered like a secret handshake. This is not a mass marketing campaign. No one gets the same experience twice. The customer is welcomed into an exclusive ecosystem where their kitchen is designed before they even knew they were ready to buy. So it's a lot. It's pretty cool, right? They're casting the vision. So then they say, what do you think? First I was like, just answer 2 questions for me. Did you promise a time when it's going to be delivered? And did you promise a price, on it? And they said no to both. And I said, we're good. We're good on that. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this. And all they were doing is sharing how AI can be infused in current things that we do today to make it more efficient and more effective within it. Persistent AI concierge, AI-powered visualization within it, so content generation. Financially intelligent recommendations with I know the budget, I know the different things, I can do the pricing tiers, some logic on there. And white glove customer service. Helps out with installation, some automation that's included in there. Okay. Taking a look at that, we kind of broke it down and like, we can address this. We wanted to make sure that what we were helping them out was one, feasible, but also kind of follows a design process so that we kind of go through feasibility. We go through proof of concept, and then we actually deliver to production. And the biggest thing on that is that we see so many things that never make it to production because they're not thinking from the enterprise standpoint. All these things need to be built in a manner that the CIO, the CTO are going to approve, and the governance and compliance is going to be there. And that's the big challenge. It's all the same things that are always going to be there, right? So we've seen these things, fragmented data in siloed systems, governance, compliance, and ethics. We're going to start using AI models within it. There's going to be challenges there. They probably don't have an AI-ready infrastructure available. Increase ROI and marketing effectiveness. Make sure you can measure it and make sure it doesn't cost too much, or else there's going to be some pretty frustrated folks. So we broke this down into 4 different enablers on this that were like very important. What we want to do is share as we kind of address this. And these are key areas as you're using TLIM where you're going to see interfaces within this. A data foundation and data science architecture, large language models, chatbots, and agentic service. Want to walk through the specific lessons learned we had as we're addressing and walking through this. So the first one is the enabler, data foundation and data science. It's categorized as the backbone of intelligent luxury shopping. So there's a need for unified customer graphs, longitudinal data on it. Need to actually aggregate the data, connect the data. Kind of sounds familiar with something that we did before. AI-ready infrastructure. So what we did in this is the fact that we already had an architecture that we could use Terraform scripts to land and kick up. What we did is just augmented it to make sure that, hey, the things that we do from an ML perspective, we can now implement from an AI perspective. And also the we probably need some agentic services in there to make sure that we could manage that. So the real thing on this is that we know that the data drives the value and the AI unlocks it. So we got to make sure that the data is loaded within it. There also needs to be flexibility within this. We're talking about the use of large language models. They need to be accessible within this. So do we have the chance to switch out or to augment that in any way? We built the enterprise services for the agentic services in this environment. What we started to find out was the fact that we were building the services in the web layer. We were building it across all the different channels, and it wasn't helpful. So we actually decided you need to build these enterprise services, all these agentic services in the same cloud environment in AWS for this and make it available out to the rest of the organization. And the last thing is that we got to a point where hey, it's great, models in production, it's there, but the problem was that what do you do then? You have to train it, you need to validate it, and you need to do all the fine tuning. Do you have all the process in place in a governed way that the IT organization is going to like in order for you to look at it? So. From us, our perspective is that TLIM was very helpful, and actually TLIM was the first integration that we built for our marketing analytics platform, that architecture that we talked about, because of the speed of being able to deliver data within it, and the speed of being able to take it out and actually connect it to 1,300 different places. We've built that accelerator for marketing analytics platform to help with that. From AWS, we got GCP versions, Azure, but then also Omnicom has its own proprietary third-party data. You heard about all these different data sets that are needed. Omnicom has a bunch of them, so we want to make sure that we could connect in with that. So that was the first one. Large language models was the next one. Everyone's talking about that, but how does it actually fit into it, and how do you actually start integrating with it? All the descriptions of this was around personalization. Understanding the customer intent, hyper-personalized content, deliver those great personalized images and text for the individual. Emotionally intelligent AI shopping. Are you talking to them in the right manner? The biggest thing that we saw with LLMs within this is that the quality of data matters. It's the same thing, good data in, good results out. The thing we also saw was that actually somewhat good data, very bad results that were coming out. So can you get a source of data that's highly reliable within this to be able to bring the information out? That was one area that TLIM helped out quite a bit. Consented data. We also had the CDW that actually had a bunch of data from all that operational pieces that we were talking about, but we didn't have the visibility of, can we actually dump this into the LLM? we start analyzing this. That's where when we started looking at Telium, it can provide that service for us. And the last piece is flexibility. There's a couple different sides to the flexibility of the LLMs. We realized on this, we started with one large language model, and it's like, well, it can't do everything, right? There's purposes and there's uses for all these different things. Some are good at text. Some are good at both text and imagery. Some are very specific within a domain. How do you make sure that you can actually service and provide multiple large language models to exactly what you want to do from an API perspective? The other side of it is like, well, don't go too crazy, and we call it the leapfrog situation. We started getting caught up in the fact that how fast these large language models were changing. We kept swapping them out to go find the next one, right? There's a newer one, it's got a bigger number next to it, right? It's gotta be better, it's gonna provide better results. Well, the thing that was is that it wasn't necessarily stable. It wasn't necessarily tested to be better than the ones that we're actually using. So we're wasting a bunch of time on just trying to chase the best model on it versus getting very good with the one that we had within it. And the last one was like, we call it the sandwich type of a deal. We're providing like all this functionality, maybe the way that we're doing using generative AI for content like imagery. And we started seeing, oh shoot, these MarTech solutions are actually building that functionality within it. Do we use what we built? We use what they built. It's actually pretty good from the MarTech solution. Maybe we don't need to use ours. The same thing from that cloud infrastructure. They were building services and functionality that we had created that we were using as proprietary, and just wasn't as, ours wasn't as helpful. So we had to get to the mentality of like, we're gonna build things and we have to be okay that it's gonna be swapped out, right? So like the evolution of all these different services and functionality needs to be a very flexible environment. The third one was chatbots, and this is the luxury concierge that never sleeps that was described within it. Persistent longitudinal memory, got to make sure you're responding to individuals in the right way, in the right tone that they need to be spoken with, and then also is it integrated. And the situation that we came into is that like, this one's big, that there's more engineering in AI solutions than AI itself. And I say that that's very important because like you can get caught up in it. Right? You had a conversation you heard this morning, build versus buy, right? We've had situations like, well, we'll just build our own RAG functionality. We know how to do it, we can do it, but can you keep up with the functionality that's also available? There's tens of millions and sometimes billions of dollars that's spent on it. We see 6 months shelf life for the things that we're building. Also storing the longitudinal data. That's the first thing that's on there. Typically thing with the RAG functionality, if you're building a chatbot, it's gonna, you just dump it into, Pinecone and retrieve it as a vector database on it. Well, that's a lot of information to store there. Telium already has it, and actually has it in a better format. It doesn't have just all the raw data. It has it aggregated, summarized, in a much more valuable, high quality content. That actually got us to be able to get to better results faster with that. That was the consented aspect of it as well. And the last piece was embedded. And what we're seeing a lot of companies, and in this case we're doing the same thing unfortunately, we're building these AI services, but there was an integrator embedded into the actual applications or the things that we were doing. The example we use internally, just to kind of put it in perspective, it's pretty hyperbolized, but it's like, if you were the one that was creating the first spell check example, if you built a service but you had to take everything out of Word, drop it in this tool, and then go bring it back within it, and then also do the same thing with PowerPoint, not useful. Making sure you're being thoughtful of just not the functionality, but how do you get it into the tools that are gonna be there, and then even bigger, how do you make sure people use it and it's adopted? Agentic services. So with this, the example is describing intelligent shopping agents, home-aware assistants. I know the home. I can actually do a bunch of functions and features within that. And the last thing is multi-agent collaborations, swarming of these agents to go perform quite a bit. We've learned quite a bit here as well. So there's a lot of different enabling technology within it. Telium in particular, when we're talking about AI that doesn't just recommend, it acts. We're getting these results, but are we making sure that we can actually easily connect it out into all the different areas? Telium helped us from that aspect. But when we're talking about agents, we're getting caught up in like, what do we define and use as agents? And in essence, it's something that can make decisions and act on its own. And there's a challenge with that on the fact that like a lot of people confuse automation with it. Even our first example with our price negotiations to order fulfillment, price negotiations, really good example. I can't understand step 1, step 2, step 3. It's going to go out and act, and it's going to go solve the problem on if you want to provide a service for people to do price negotiations. Really good example. Order fulfillment wasn't good. Even though we thought it was a good idea, we spent a bunch of time on it, but we knew step 1, we knew step 2, we knew step 3, we knew step 4. The use case was too big. If we actually took it and made it more narrow within that and just said, well, we have an example where there's 3 fulfillment providers. They all say they can deliver on it, but one's probably a little bit better at that. Can you go solve that and can you make that for us? That was a better example for us being more aware of what we need to be doing there. So the thought is like, you need to spend time making sure you understand the whole context of the use case and the scenario that you're actually delivering. Because what happens is we found ourselves not thinking through the edge cases. And this is an agent and a service that's actually going to be working 24/7 on this all the time. It's going to be doing a bunch of edge cases you're not even familiar with. You're not even paying attention. It's really good at it. And all of a sudden you're getting results and it's not making sense. So you're not like monitoring that aspect. So you have to make sure you make your use cases and the services that are being provided narrow enough for it. The other thing is that these agents are only as good as the tools you provide them. When I say tools, these agents are things that are acting on its own. Do they have the right APIs available to look at inventory? Can they go scrape websites to get information on there? We had all these great ideas, but we didn't have access to the data or the API structure within it. One of the great things from Tealum is that all that data within there, you can get access to it. So that was super helpful. The last thing on the multi-agent collaboration, we were able to set up some things within this, but we also found just the idea of like, it's going to be acting, it's going to be doing a lot of things within it. You need to put in reflective practices. What we mean by reflective practices, things that allow the agent to actually check, should I be doing this? It's like self-monitoring on it. Is this a good thing that we should be doing? An example would be is if you had like an agent that's actually going out and providing refunds to anyone that had like a complaint on a website that was $100. Just make sure it's not over $100. It's gonna be really good at that. It's gonna do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's gonna spend all your money, within it. Do you have a human in the loop checking that out and you actually have something that's actually checking itself? Or do you actually have another agent that's checking the work of that agent? So there's quite a bit that we learned through that. I want to remind you that like all these things that we talked about, there's a lot of details. There's AWS architecture drawings in there. There's a lot of points of view in there within the QR code. We want to make sure we're sharing that investment so you don't necessarily go down the same steps that we did within that. The biggest thing that we've looked at is that a lot of this technology is available today. It's kind of a now, next, future. Start working through and developing that functionality. But the brands that actually invest in building that infrastructure so they can start doing these things, the ones that actually tear down those silos, they actually start leveraging real-time data, and the ones that are actually trying to really harness the full functionality of the AI functionality, those are the brands that are actually going to be defining the new era of their industry. The rest of the brands that aren't doing this, they're going to be sending out the same generic emails and hoping for the best. We've looked and we've learned some lessons. Hopefully we can pass that on to you so you can do more. I think you can do more than what's listed. So thank you.